Have you ever noticed that some people can sit on a beach relaxing while others are mentally reorganizing their entire life before breakfast? If relaxing makes you feel guilty or uncomfortable or even behind in life, this video will explain why. You see, understanding your efforting archetype will help you reveal your true self. Ultimately, this series is about coming home to your true self using this practical guidance. But first, you need to discover which efforting style you run your life on. Because most people think they're busy or exhausted because they do too much. But the exhaustion is actually coming from an unconscious emotional driver underneath the constant efforting, pushing, forcing, striving, or always trying to get ahead. And when you can release that subconscious programming, you let your true self come out to play. Now, let me be clear. This is not about becoming lazy or passive or doing nothing with your life. Couldn't be further from it. This is about changing the energy and deeper motivation underneath all of your amazing achievements. I know you're successful, but not all striving and efforting comes from the same place. Today we're going to break down the survivor-striver archetype. For ease of understanding, let's call this one the pusher. I like to use the red kumara or sweet potato as the symbol, and I'll explain why at the end of this video. Now again, I am not about anti-ambition. I'm separating your true self-expression from conditioned force. That is your learned efforting. So tell me, does this sound like you? You're the one who gets things done. You're the one who keeps life moving. You're the one who feels uncomfortable dropping the ball. You see, this archetype appears highly capable, and actually they are. They're very responsible, disciplined, and usually successful. But underneath the productivity is usually an attachment to safety through control. And the survivor-striver is efforting from survival. Now, your true self doesn't have to try too hard, force, or even rush life. It's only our conditioning and our hang-ups and our trauma and other subconscious programming that stops us from expressing our true self. And if we know how to see these blocks that keep us stuck or exhausted or in hustle mode, we are then self-aware enough to shift that and move into ease and flow. Today I'm going to be more thorough about the survivor-striver archetype. However, you can catch the other three archetypes in the links in the description below. Now, through my work in energy psychology and subconscious reprogramming, I've noticed people with this survivor-striver archetype at the subconscious level carry beliefs such as these. I must push to be safe. If I slow down, things will fall apart. My value comes from what I achieve. Money creates safety. Productivity equals worth. Rest must be earned. If I stop, I'll lose momentum. Now, logically, they may or may not agree with these beliefs. That's consciously. But emotionally, their body still acts them out. And that's why they can't fully switch off. They're checking their emails on holiday, feeling guilty, sitting down. They're rushing around with no one chasing them, and they just need to turn rest into productivity somehow. Most people are not just one archetype. Usually they're one archetype as their primary, and the other secondary is a little bit of something else. So the different archetypes activate during different seasons of your life. This is also something to consider. The goal is not to fix yourself. It's just life, right? But we do need to become aware. So the goal is awareness. It's because once you understand why you're efforting, you stop making exhaustion a personality trait. And that's when flow can begin. So the difficult thing about this archetype, the survivor-striver, is it gets rewarded. Society praises these people. But eventually, the body starts resisting the pace and you're forced to stop. And this is where people suddenly feel exhausted, chronically fatigued, emotionally flat, disconnected from people or life itself, resentful, and unable to enjoy what they've actually worked for. And the irony, they often feel guilty resting, even when they desperately need it. When imbalanced, the survivor-striver feels they must hold life together themselves, like it's all up to me. And when balanced, the survivor-striver feels supported by life and ironically draws that to them from people and other circumstances. So here are some beliefs that would be really helpful to embody at a subconscious level. I am safe in the present moment. I am supported by life. I create success with ease and alignment. Rest restores and strengthens me. Peace and success coexist. I am worthy exactly as I am. I honor my energy and move forward powerfully. I can create success from alignment. Let's talk about this kumara. I live in New Zealand, and that's what we call a sweet potato. So each archetype tends to overfunction through the shadow expression of a particular energy center, otherwise known as a chakra. Now, this doesn't mean the chakra is bad, it's actually just out of balance. And this is where people feel stuck in survival mode, and it's time to acknowledge that your foundational energy is ready for some attention. Now, I use these symbols and colors because it helps people to align with the specific energy center and gives insight into how to find better balance. So the survivor-striver connects strongly to that foundational safety energy. And in energetic traditions, this relates to the root chakra, which is red. And this part of us is associated with safety, stability, security, survival, and feeling grounded in life. Because when this part of us becomes imbalanced, people start living as though life is an emergency, even when they're technically safe. So they rush and they push and they overwork and they overcontrol themselves and others, as well as be over-responsible. Because their internal system has learned that slowing down does not feel safe. Which is why grounding practices are so helpful for the survival striver. Things like gardening or walking barefoot in the earth or sand or on grass. It's also good with slow breathing exercises, being in nature in general, and just reconnecting with the body. This all helps the system remember, I am safe now. And finally, just to be clear, the goal is not to become less ambitious. It's to stop needing exhaustion in order to feel valuable. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about the other archetypes who look completely different externally, but secretly still struggle just as much internally. So jump over and watch this video here.